Hi, thank you for joining me again. Today I want to talk about getting people on your side. Okay, if ever you are in a situation where you've got a goal that you want to achieve, whether that's personal, career, health and fitness, any aspect of your life, the major determining factor that's going to help you along your way is other people. So it could be something like you've got an interview coming up, or you've got a meeting, or some social situation where you really need to get people to agree with you. So people are your most important asset in life. Whatever you want to achieve, they are absolutely invaluable to you as you are to them. You are other people's biggest asset as well. So we all know people in our lives that we click with. So why do we click with some people and not with others? So people like people who are like them. The idea of opposites attracting is actually a myth. So if we pick partners or we pick friends who were completely different to us, that disagreed with us on absolutely every issue, our relationships would be frustrating, we wouldn't develop, they wouldn't grow, it'd be pointless. People like people who are like them. So our closest friends, our partners, the family members that we get on with really well are similar. We have similar values. We also have similar physiology. You'll notice that when people are together and deeply in rapport, really connected with each other, they will stand or sit in a similar manner. They will use similar words and gestures and facial expressions. So studies have shown that only about 7% of our communication is actually portrayed in the words that we say, in the meaning of the words that we say. About 38% of it is in our tone of voice, how we say it. That means 55%, the majority of our communication, comes from our physiology. So if someone agrees with you while shaking their head, that's not a very subtle example, but for instance, go with them shaking their head. That's what they're actually meaning. 55% of communication is in physiology. So think about when you spent time with people that you really, really get on with. Have you ever noticed that if you cross your legs or fold your arms, someone that you're really getting on with well will probably do a similar thing very shortly after, or you might do it very shortly after them? Have you ever gone to pick up a glass and your friend does it at exactly the same time? Have you leant back in your chair at exactly the same time as someone else does it? So the chances are, if that's happened, that was a time when you were getting on really, really well and you were really deeply in rapport with the people that you were with. So if you really care enough about your communication and you really want to understand how other people see the world and how they feel about it, one really important way to do this is to get in rapport with them. The more you are in rapport with someone, the more you're understanding their thoughts and their feelings. And this is really, really important if you need to be of influence. So if you need to communicate something really important in a meeting, or if you're meeting, a new partner's family member for the first time, you want to be in rapport with them so you can influence them. So how do you do that? How do you get in rapport with someone deliberately? So we do this by a process called matching and mirroring. And this needs to be done subtly, otherwise it just seems like mimicry and it doesn't work at all. So you only need to pick out a few things to really get in rapport with someone and feel like you're really getting along well. Try this next time you're in a conversation with one of your friends, one of your family members, somewhere low pressure to start with. So you could match their posture. So if they're leaning back and reclining, looking relaxed, maybe you can do the same. If they're sitting forward, a bit like on the couch at Top Gear, do the same. If their speech is quite slow and considered, think about matching your pace of delivery to that. If they're talking really quickly and spilling out a lot of ideas, bring your pace up to match them. That's a really important one, because someone who normally thinks in images will talk very quickly, and someone who goes inside and feels what they're saying will often talk a lot more slowly. And those two can mismatch quite badly. So if someone is used to delivering and receiving information really quickly, and you start really considering your next words, they're going to get really irritated, and that's going to break rapport. So think about that one. Some people have some subtle gestures. Some people use their hands when they talk. If someone's using their hands when they talk, don't do exactly the same thing. Don't mimic them. That's rude. But if you start to use your hands to articulate what you're saying, you will probably find that you are thinking in a similar way to them. Also listen out for the types of word people use. That can indicate really clearly what system they are thinking in. So if people are saying things like, I see what you mean, they're probably predominantly operating in their visual processing system. So match that, use visual words. If someone's predominantly operating it in their auditory processing system, they might say phrases like, yeah, sounds good to me. And if someone's operating predominantly from feelings, from their kinesthetic system, they might ask questions like, what do you feel like doing? So bear those in mind. Physiology, the posture, your head position, if they're tilting their head, if their head's bolt upright, if their tone of voice is slow yours down. If theirs is quick, speed it up. If they talk softly, soften your voice. If someone talks very softly and you're booming and overpowering, that's not going to sit well. So try it next time you're in conversation with someone and see A, how much better you understand them, and B, how much better you get along. So just to illustrate this with an example, Tony Robbins, who, if you've not heard of him, is a world-renowned success author, easy for me to say, and philanthropist. So he tells a story where he was in Central Park, in between talks and seminars, and he's just relaxing in the park, and this kind of thing is pretty much second nature to him. He does it all the time, and he's just sat there a couple of benches away from another chap, and just out of habit he starts matching and mirroring this other guy. So the guy initially is sat back on the bench with his legs crossed, so Tony happens to sit back with his legs crossed. Shortly afterwards, the chap leans forward. Tony just automatically out of habit leans forward. The chap starts feeding the ducks. Tony starts feeding the ducks, and it goes on, and they're going through a fairly similar, not exactly the same, not identical, but they're going through a fairly similar process. And shortly after, no surprise to Tony Robbins, the guy got up and came to sit with him and talk to him. And the guy said, I can see you're an intelligent chap. Remember, people like people who are like them. So the chap's subconscious was picking up on the fact that Tony Robbins was a similar guy to him. He had similar mannerisms, similar physiology, similar behaviour. So the guy's subconscious said, that guy is like you, therefore we like him. We judge ourselves to be intelligent, we judge him to be intelligent. And the conversation went on, and this man said to Tony Robbins that he felt like he'd known him a long time. He felt like he'd connected with him more than some people that had worked for him for 20 years. And on the spot, the guy offered Tony Robbins a job. So that was just from a little subconscious bit of matching and mirroring. And this works wonders. So if you need to get someone on your side in an interview, in a meeting, if you're meeting someone important in your personal life, or if you just need to have some good influence with your friends, give it a go.